Okay, Tuesday, March 15th. Um, this is the Ides of March, as in Julius Caesar, William Shakespeare play. Beware the Ides of March. I remember reading that a long time ago, I think in high school in the 1980s. So March 15th is always some key date. Today is day 2 of negotiations between Russia and Ukraine down in Turkey, but from what I understand, they're not going anywhere. Russia wants Ukraine to surrender and disarm and basically just fuck off and die, and they'll take everything. And then, of course, Ukraine is quite the opposite of that, so I don't think they're anywhere near a middle ground. And I don't know what the middle ground would be. I imagine that there would be no middle ground. So yeah, we had one air raid siren yesterday, but it was a short one. One of the neighbors told me that what happens is when the missile launch is detected, it's sounded for all of Ukraine, and then when they figure out which direction it's going, then it's the districts not affected are taken off of alert. So yeah, it wasn't so hard as yesterday. The day before was like a very long notice, like 6 hours, and still, when you lose some sleep and stuff, it's, it can be a little disruptive. So what were we talking about yesterday is, okay, so the Rivne was, I don't have any report on what the casualties were at the TV tower, but that was more of an infrastructure strike than a civilian strike, and it was at night, so I imagine I haven't heard anything, but the air base, or not the air base, but the NATO base on the border, Lviv, I believe is the name of that town, there were many foreign Legion, Ukrainian Foreign Legion people. I saw a video from a French guy showing the damage, and then there's unconfirmed reports that 2 to 3 former British Special Forces people were killed, not active members of British Special Forces, but people who probably retired or who had that experience before. But I don't know if they were SAS or, British Special Forces is not just the elite squadrons that you see in Counter-Strike or, you read about in the papers. They're also the Royal Marines are considered a special force. The British Paratrooper Regiment is considered a special force as well. They're very highly trained, get a lot of experience in Afghanistan, and they do non-traditional warfare as well as traditional warfare. So special forces is like a very wide-ranging term. I really hope that didn't happen. That would be a really great loss, if such people were taken out by that strike. So yeah, 35 died, I think 35 to 37 died, and over 100 were wounded. And we don't have much of a response from Joe Biden other than, every inch of NATO will be defended, so I don't know what to think of that. The West's, silence on this, other than, they are very vocal about giving a lot of weapons support, and that I don't think will cease to exist. So, okay, now talking more about the foreign soldiers. So we are seeing some more, snippets of people coming into Ukraine, like including the world's best sniper. There's a couple people from Norway that have come over that I read about in Norwegian media. And I think more and more people are volunteering. It's upwards of like 20,000 foreigners, highly skilled ones with like combat experience have come over. So that's quite interesting, to say the least. But Russia's also recruiting in Syria, and I saw a video from the Central African Republic that they're volunteering to side with Russia, and then we have Chechens. Now, I don't think the Chechens are these 10-foot tall super soldiers that everyone makes them out to be. Let's analyze this. Okay, Chechens' combat experience was against Russia. Now we see, what kind of training was that? We're seeing how well Russian combat units are doing in Ukraine. They were supposed to take Kiev in 28 hours, and here we are 20 days later. And then I think they're really good at terrorizing unarmed civilians and children. So they have a lot of practice at that. And then we saw their general come on YouTube or TikTok or something and mocking the Ukrainians and telling exactly where he is and saying how they're better soldiers and their intel is better and how they're going to come from the east, and then meet an experienced Russian general or colonel on the west side of Kiev. And he was just really not acting like a leader, not like a leader in a combat situation. You're supposed to keep your mouth shut and just do your job, not to do that, be overconfident. It's already killing them. And then we had seen, I think that, again, it's unconfirmed. These things are all coming in Telegram, and it's hard to know what's true. Unfortunately, I'm like leaning on CNN and Fox and BBC to kind of, give the vetted news that has like multiple sources of confirmation, that they are somewhat professional journalists at the end of the day versus, bloggers and TikTokers. But apparently 50-some Chechnyan tanks were taken out, last week or so. So they're not invincible. They're not, I don't think they're, it's not like having, the British have your back, that's much better than having the Chechens have your back, or having the French Foreign Legion have your back, that's much better than the Chechens. So then, that's one group, and then Russia is opening up recruitment centers in Syria to have them come over and fight in Ukraine. I wonder how that works. Okay, so you get some $200 or $300 a month. You get to go to some foreign land where everyone hates you, and I'm pretty sure in Syria they have better access to the internet. I don't think they have all the firewalls, sophisticated firewalls and things like that. The government can't block out the information like they can in Russia. So I think they have a pretty good idea of what's going on. That they're going to be on a mission to kill women and children, and use chemical weapons. I don't know how these Russian-siding Syrians are, but I imagine just from a practical point of view, it would be very hard to integrate them, into the Russian forces and get them on the communications. And I imagine that after a week or two of discomfort, they're not going to be liking it much here. They're going to be missing a lot of things. And then, what kind of soldiers would be attracted to this? Would you get some hard professionals, or would you just get people desperate for money? And I imagine they're going to all be targeted. I imagine this will be a bonanza. We have a lot of foreign snipers that have volunteered and come to Ukraine, including one I mentioned earlier. So their leadership, because they'll probably be fighting in their own units. They'll be probably, their leader will probably talk to the Russians, say, okay, go take out this village or something. So their leaders will be targeted, and you'll probably see a lot of surrendering and things like that going on. I just don't see like the Russian Foreign Legion offering anything, maybe Russian citizenship. Yeah, it's not like the French Foreign Legion where you get a European passport after 5 years. That attracts a much higher caliber of person, So, I'm not mocking it. 16,000 people with guns is always dangerous, no matter how low skilled or how bad their training is. But they're gonna have issues. They will have a lot of issues in this war, and there will be a lot of, I think within the Russian ranks there'll be a lot of issues. So I really, I don't see. And then these soldiers from the Central African Republic, I don't know if there's a significant amount of them to make a difference. And again, how would they integrate, and how would they do anything meaningful, and how much are they getting paid? Is the question. Because I think they can also easily be contacted. Their leader could be contacted, and they could just be bought off, given plane tickets to go home and be happy that they're alive. Maybe get some pocket money. So it would be very hard. Russia is not a force that does joint operations with other nations, joint military exercises. They're not like the U.S. and Norway and Germany and France and all these countries, Canada, where we're all exercising and parachute jumping together and everything like that, and hanging out at each other's bases. It's just their level of sophistication for this is way down there. So, yeah, that's the one. This is the issue I wanted to bring up, is this, the sanctions. I guess, the other one was the software sanctions. I guess they haven't kicked down sanctions on software yet, on stop supporting. I mean, it's still a public outcry versus like a government mandate to tell all these software companies to stop updating and stop supporting the operating systems, because that could really be damaging for Russia if they have to go back to a file cabinet and paper bureaucracy. That's against someone using Office. A lot of fuel is not going to get purchased, and just all this like back office bureaucratic stuff. It's going to show, just like it's showing now. I imagine there's a lot of that problem, getting spare parts and fuel and food to the right places. That all takes like a well-functioning office, and I think that's what we're seeing. So yeah. But that's all I got today. Just want to comment on these foreign soldiers, and then a little bit more on this sanctions about software and everything. So anyway, we'll talk tomorrow, and see you. Bye-bye.